Hey, what's up everybody? In this video we're going to go over my Creeping Death Frost build for my Witchdoctor. So let's get right to the skills. My primary, well it's actually secondary left click, is Haunt with Resentful Spirits. Now this is just Haunt, but then Resentful Spirits allows this to cast 2 haunts at once. So whatever you cast at will be haunted, and then it'll seek out a different enemy, just kind of random nearby enemy. So this actually makes Haunt very effective for multi-targets after using this. Also the cold damage, since this is a frost cold build. Locust Swarm with Devouring Swarm. This is just Locust Swarm, but you gain 25 mana a second while the first enemy hit is still affected by the swarm. Just a mana boost. Really it's just for the cold damage. That's not very effective as a rune, but you could use a lot of haunts and piranhas because of that. For piranhas, I have frozen piranhas for the cold damage, of course. Nothing special except for just the cold damage again. Gargantuan with Humungoid. This gives him a cleave with increased weapon damage for about 30% more than a normal attack from Gargantuan. So that's pretty good for multi-target attacks. For defensive, I have Spirit Walk, Healing Journey, just to get out of anything, and then also give myself a little bit of health in case shit goes down, like walls, prisons. And then finally, Summon Zombie Dogs, Leeching Beasts. I got this just for healing. Since there is no cold damage dogs, I go with this typically if I can't use what I want, so that way it just keeps me alive. And then for my passive skills, I have Spiritual Attunement. This one just gives me more maximum mana and regenerates my mana. Rush of Essence, Spirit Spells, which is Haunt, will regen 100 mana over 10 seconds, 10 mana a second. So since I'm going to be using this so often, I'll just constantly be getting that mana back. And then Grave Injustice, which if anything dies nearby, gives me mana and life back, along with reducing the cooldown of my piranhas, well, along with my zombie dogs and my gargantuan, but they never die. So that's essentially for, you know, health, mana, and piranhas. And then finally, Creeping Death, the big one for this build. Your Haunt, Locust Swarm, and damage amplifications from piranhas last almost forever. Now, this is big, you know, just because it reduces the times you have to cast, and also if it's on a boss, it'll just stay on them. You will want to recast just in case it fell off, but it does last a very long time, lasts longer than 12 seconds to 6 seconds, along with 8 seconds for the debuff that piranhas gives. So let's get to the gear. My one-handed weapon is Azure Wrath. This gives me cold damage along with a 22% chance to freeze on hit. So since it is on hit, it's just a chance to when I cast something, or when my Haunt jumps or my Locust Swarm jumps, that gives me a chance to freeze. So that's just more of a defensive. I do have Rhymeheart, but I don't really care for it. It doesn't seem like a 10% chance for freezing to do that huge 10,000 damage. So I'll try it, and maybe I'll put up a video about it, see how well it works. But for my gloves that also go with this build are Frostburns. These are actually pretty hard to get. I recently just got these Cold Skills. Of course I could have got it. Well, that's actually a good roll. Cold Skills do more damage, along with your cold damage has up to a 35% chance to freeze enemies. As you can see, it has up to, so the harder the enemies, the less of a chance it has to freeze them. But that's fine. This is mainly there for defensive. I have the Warzetchian Arm Guards, just cold damage. Every time you destroy a wreckable object, you gain a short burst of speed. That's actually kind of cool. I didn't think I ran across these. I decided to use them because of stats, and then they're actually pretty effective. I recommend them if you're trying to do things fast. Just shoot a wreckable, and then you'll run fast for about 2 seconds. My offhand, Thing of the Deep, I always use it as a Witchdoctor just because the increased gold and health pickup. That also ties in with the Grave Injustice. So the range is extended by Thing of the Deep for this. So essentially I got a 45-yard radius for if anything dies, I get mana and life and cooldowns reduced, all tied into that. And, you know, and then gold, I never have to run down gold. I have the Tall Man's Finger for one of my rings, and this makes my zombie dog, you can see here, one giant dog that does more damage than all other dogs combined. So that's kind of cool. I do like that. You know, just single target, it works really well. It doesn't work very well as far as defensive, because since you only have one, it can't absorb more enemies. You know, it can't take the focus off of you. But it's not too bad with this build. I don't know why I switched that out with the Witching Hour. I'll change that out here in a second. I got the Haunt of Axo. This doesn't help me. I'm just using it for the stats. Summons clones when you stun an enemy. Since I don't have any stuns, that doesn't help. And then I have Quetzalcoatl. Locust Swarm and Haunt now deal their damage in half the normal duration. So that really just doubles my damage in the same amount of time. So if you do not have Creeping Death, it'll just half the time that it takes to do the same amount of damage. So 4 seconds for Locust Swarm, 6 seconds for Haunt. So that's, with this build, that really just doubles my damage. Otherwise, everything else is pretty normal. My legendary gems only got 2 right now. These are the 2 that I really like, is Pain Enhancer and Gem of Efficacious Toxin. Pain Enhancer will give me about 700% weapon damage a second, and then Gem of Infectious Toxin will give me about 325% weapon damage a second. Also, since this is at rank 25, all enemies you poison take 10% increased damage from all sources, so that's a damage boost also. I need to change out this belt. I don't even know where the hell it went. Here it is, I think. Yeah. So that's my Locust Swarm belt. So I also have Hual's Wrap. Locust Swarm also slows enemies by 60%, so that does help, but the problem is that I have with anything but Pestilence is that it does take a while for it to actually spread to everybody, as you'll see here pretty soon. But that's the gear that I have for this build. My damage doesn't look very high, but it does actually kick ass. Critical hit chances pretty high, 53.7%, so that's around where I like to have it for any build. I'm a big fan of critical hit chance. Critical hit damage is pretty low. I could use about another 140%, but this works, especially since this is a dot build. Area damage, I got 15% off my shoulders and then another 50 off of Paragon, so there's 65%. Not bad, not great. Cold damage increase, that's a big increase, 67% damage increase for cold, just from Azura Wrath, Frostburn gauntlets. Where's the gauntlets? Oh, just Frostburn. My wrists and my necklace, that gives me 67%, so that's quite a bit. Poison damage I got off my, I just always wear my Swampland waders because usually I'm using poison. I switch it around, but that will also help with the Gem of Efficacious Toxin. And then defense, pretty low, 8 million. That's why I'm doing Torment 4. This isn't a Torment 6 build yet. So life per hit is pretty high, 21,000, so that's pretty good. Per second, piss poor. Per kill, piss poor. So I'm just banking on per hit. Since I am rapidly hitting enemies, it does gain back pretty damn fast. And also I can just keep casting Haunt on single targets, and that'll give me that 21,000. Otherwise, not too much else going on. So let's go see what it can do. Yeah, let me pull out my big guy there. And pretty easy build. Just toss up a couple right off the bat. Toss up a couple haunts. As you can see, it doesn't take much to haunt everybody. Everybody will be slowed, frozen, just not able to do very much, along with the slowing effect of Locust Swarm from the belt. As you can see, I can put up quite a few of these piranhas too, because of the reduced cooldown from the skill, or the passive that I have. So it's pretty easy. I could essentially run around wherever I want because everything is slowed so much, and also frozen. And then Haunt is really the main skill on here. Locust Swarm kind of takes a back seat to Haunt when you use cold, just because of how slowly Haunt travels to different targets. You can cast it multiple times to speed it up, but then that burns up a lot of mana too. So as long as there's enemies around, make sure to use it. And as you can see, it doesn't take too much time. Poison does actually work a lot better for these builds, but if you do like cold, then this is the way to go. I'm a big fan of cold damage. It's just the damage doesn't ever seem to be there compared to other, especially fire, but I'm not a big fan of fire because there is really no CCs or anything for most of it. So as you can see, all the haunts are just jumping to other enemies on the screen. Doesn't take much to haunt everything. And that's pretty much it for the build. Not a really a bad build. It's just working on all the gear to get your cold damage up. So, man, all my videos. Oh wait, no, I have gotten a legendary on one of my videos, 2 maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, well, that's my build, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, make sure to like and or subscribe to Dread's Escape. If you like this or anything else that I have on my channel, if you haven't seen it yet, make sure to head on over and check it out. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.